this is La Priest. Today I'm going to show you my geneiii drum machine and how it works. After making the mini Gene drum machine, I wanted to do something with a bit more depth and a lot more control. geneiii is 100% analog and it's a bit different from other drum machines because it uses dials to set the timing of the beats, so you can play in any time signature, but it also doesn't always do what you'd expect, which I like. The drums are in 4 sections, but there's an expansion port for more sound modules, so 5 different drum sounds can be used at the same time. You've got 4 timing dials for each section, and there are switches in between that you use to set whether those 4 beats will alternate or play at the same time. Maybe everything's going to be on the Y now. All on the Y. Or these lot can be on X. Then each of the 4 sections has a control for volume, tone, and decay of the sound. There are separate bar length switches for the 2 top drums and 2 bottom drums, and a 4 times reset switch that can resync the upper and lower drums back to the same point after 4 loops of the top or bottom bar length, which allows you to make long evolving polyrhythms or keep everything synchronized to a selected time signature. In the middle position, everything is fully polyrhythmic and it never resets. Lastly, on the right, there's a play stop switch. Stop. Play. Tempo control. Quantize switch. So you can go from unquantized, this is unquantized, to perfectly quantized, or half quantized rhythms. And the XY switch sets which group of beats will play, or whether they'll play in an alternating pattern. Y. X. XY. First sound is the bass drum. Control the pitch and the decay. As you bring the volume up, you get these overtones that are caused by the germanium diodes in the output stage. Next sound is the tom. Again, you can control the pitch and the decay. Tom has a small range where it can self-oscillate. Next is the snare. Controls are pitch and decay. As you increase the decay of the snare, the volume of the snare noise changes. This is so that longer decay times don't completely overpower the tone of the snare sound. And it also means that you can mute the snare noise. Last sound is the hi-hat, which also makes kind of a shaker sound. You can control the decay of the hi-hat, so it can be really subtle, which I like, or you can have it like this, so it's really noisy. This switch engages the module if you have one connected, and lets you switch between the module sound and the hi-hat, or combine both. There are 2 jack outputs, one for the left channel which has the bass drum and tom, and one for the right channel which has the snare and hi-hat or module. When no output jack is connected to the right output, the left output becomes a mono mix of all the drum sounds. geneiii runs on a 9-volt power supply, the same kind you would use with effects pedals, but there'll be an optional adapter that allows it to run on an external 9-volt battery. There are also controls inside the back of the box, so that you can tune the sounds and the timing even more. An optional clock input, output and reset input or an output can be added, as well as trigger outputs for each drum. And modules will be available to add more sounds and sound control to the drum machine. geneiii is the first fully analog drum machine that can do grid-free, polyrhythmic, flexibly quantizable rhythms ever made, as far as I know. I build them with through-hole analog components, which can be replaced and repaired forever, using classic, easy-to-source parts. If you want to get one of these handmade machines, follow La Priest for more updates, or go to the Gene Shopify store. Thanks, and goodbye.